The Master at Rest by Ryan Diller. Act 1. Lights up on the living room of Will Shakespeare and Anne Hathaway's home in Stratford-upon-Avon. Autumn, 1612. Anne is off stage. Will Shakespeare painstakingly arranges a workspace. A dog-eared copy of Holinshed's Chronicle sits in the corner of the desk. Quills and paper are arranged strangely, haphazardly across the desk. It's been over a year since he wrote The Tempest and moved away from London. Having written strictly in London since he became a professional writer, the task of arranging a workspace in Stratford proves alien to him. Should it be like his space in London? That doesn't seem quite right, no. This chair? No, that chair. He shuffles around quills. Too many quills? Too many quills. But maybe that. Then there's the paper. Certainly not enough paper.
Anne!
Yes.
Anne!
Yes.
Is there any more paper around?
Paper?
What?
Paper?
Yes.
Did you check your drawer?
What?
Did you check your drawer?
Well, of course I checked the drawer, Anne. Why wouldn't I check the drawer?
Well, where else would it be?
I don't know. Don't you have any extra?
Extra paper?
Yeah.
Why would I have extra paper?
I don't know. Can I have your diary?
What?
Your diary. We need more paper.
He'll bring some.
How would she know?
Because he's a professional fucking writer.
He's late.
He's coming from fucking London.
Early is on time is late.
He'll be here.
Okay, Anne!
Will sits at his desk. He looks across it. He pushes the paper onto the floor.
Screw it.
He picks up Holinshed's Chronicles and flips to a familiar section. He begins reading aloud.
Such great hope and good expectation was had of this man's fortunate success to follow, that within 3 days after his father's decease, divers noble men and honorable personages did to him homage, and swore to him due obedience, which had not been seen done to any of his predecessor kings of this realm. How? Falstaff.
The sound of enthusiastic audience applause is heard faintly in the background.
As the noble Bolingbroke, King Henry IV, our playwright, Mr. William Shakespeare.
The audience's applause increases in volume.
As young Hal, King Henry V, Mr. Richard Burbage.
The audience's applause becomes more fervent.
And as Mary Jack Falstaff, the Jester of London, Mr. Will Kemp.
The audience erupts in deafening applause, spotlight on Will Kemp, relishing the crowd's applause, inviting their adoration. He breaks into a magnificent series of leaps and bounds to the audience's pleasure. His movement evokes the abandon of the circus and the precision of Irish dance. Will watches him. End scene. The crowd's applause bleeds into the top of the scene. We see Dick Burbage sell into his one-room London apartment. 1598. It's a rough time in London. The plague rolled through just a few years previously, ravaging the unsanitary London and spreading through the countryside, killing thousands, including Hamnet Shakespeare, Will's only son. Will Shakespeare is 34 years old. The specter of the deceased Kit Marlowe still lingers over the theater scene, but it is Will who has built the Elizabethan theater in his and Kit's image. Theater goes hand in hand with prostitution and bear baiting, all dirt cheap, all considered vulgar, all available in the same space. Other than gambling, theater has become the most popular source of merriment in London. A patron can catch 5 shows in a week just at one theater. With a fan base that includes the poor, soldiers, vagrants, the middle class, dukes, and the Queen herself, it is the most universal of English customs. This, of course, to the fury of England's preachers. At 34, Will had achieved an unprecedented feat. First writer of self-made wealth. Wealth that he plans to grow exponentially in the next few years with real estate ventures, a massive new theater space, and an endless supply of new plays. If only he could write them. Dick Burbage is the sole member of Will's inner circle, his business partner, his confidant, his leading man. He has the unfortunate position of being England's second most acclaimed actor, behind Marlowe's retired muse Edward Allen, and its second most popular behind Mr. Kemp. Will's come over for a celebratory drink after the opening of Henry IV, Part 2. He's off stage getting drinks. Dick sits with a prompt book in front of him, muttering lines from Howe's I know thee not, old man speech to himself. He's flawless in his memorization, but still painstakingly following along in the script to make sure he'll be truly word perfect for his next performance.
They love it, Dick.
It's a good play.
Is it?
I mean, it's no Falstaffs in Love, but
Too soon, too soon.
I recall Her Majesty liked that one.
Did she? It wasn't like she laughed over every word Kemp said.
This speech kills me, Will.
Not like she forced me to write the damn thing.
So cruel, so poignant.
Will enters with a shot of whiskey and a mug of beer.
Not that anyone pays attention to what Kemp actually says.
Best thing you've given me yet.
Oh, you say that about everything I give you.
He hands Dick the mug of beer.
I meant that speech to be sympathetic, you know.
Tell that to the audience.
Only Kemp.
Only Kemp. A shot, Will?
I like to get it out of the way.
They clink glasses and drink. Will grimaces.
Oh, beautiful.
Beer's easier, you know.
But then I have to keep drinking. Might as well get it out of the way.
When's the last time you drank?
Merry Wives opening.
Thought so.
Will walks over to Dick's bookshelf and begins ravaging it.
Help yourself.
Oh, you have Orlando Furioso? There's a speech in there about bachelorhood, I recall. Rather misanthropic. Funny. Something for Kemp.
We're keeping him then.
For now.
I mean, after that epilogue.
If he had improvised it, it would have been much worse.
You're an enabler.
Yeah.
And the improvisation is getting to me.
To you.
If you hate it so much.
Falstaff this, Falstaff that.
Well, it is the star role.
Hal is the protagonist. What is with this country?
Just keep making yourself at home over there.
Well, why buy books when I can buy paper?
No, by all means.
You want good parts?
I thought artists were supposed to be original.
Aha, good artist, create. Great artist, steal.
Will takes down a copy of Plutarch's Lives.
Again?
Oh, you like this one.
Just keep it.
The only book an English writer has to buy is Holinshed's Chronicles.
We're running out of kings.
Why do you think I took this?
So what's our next play?
Can't we enjoy the one we have for once?
Hey, whatever happens to this one's fine, but the one I'm working on now will be even better. We're about to open a theater, Will.
I know.
What are we going to do?
I don't know, Dick.
End scene. Back to 1612. Anne walks on stage, leading John Fletcher into her home. He's a young man in his 20s. He carries an armful of supplies, paper, quills, Holinshed's Chronicles. He looks around the space. So this is the domain of William Shakespeare.
You'll have to pardon the mess. Terribly sorry.
The room is spotless.
You grew up in London then?
Oh no, the countryside. Sort of like this, in fact. All the men in the family are preachers.
Oh, a good Christian boy.
I suppose so.
So, you decided to become a writer.
Funny how these things happen, isn't it?
It's a noble profession.
I guess.
Do you have a wife then?
Oh, no, I can't imagine making her live in London, and I certainly can't imagine leaving her alone in the country. I imagine I'll be through with this in a few years. Get the bug out, settle down, preach. I'm sorry, am I early?
Oh, no. He'll be in a moment, I suppose. Will? Well, he'll be in.
Perhaps it was tomorrow?
Well, Will was expecting you yesterday.
Oh, terribly sorry.
Not at all.
A miscommunication, I'm sure.
Right. Perhaps, though, tell Will you were always meant to come today.
I see no need for that.
Oh, I do.
Just a simple mix-up, I'm sure he'll understand.
Mr. Fletcher,
John, please.
John, I'm acting in your interest. Will is eccentric, shall we say.
Will, it's so odd to hear him referred to that way.
Trust me. My husband is
2 hours to find one house in this damn town with paper. I hope this Fletcher fellow appreciates Mr. Fletcher, I presume.
John, please.
Will.
It's an honor, Mr. Shakespeare.
Will, please.
some milk
I just got here, Anne.
for our guest.
I'm perfectly all right. Thank you.
Right. Shall we get to it then? Much difficulty getting here?
Oh, no, not at all.
Huh.
I'm sorry. I believe there's been a miscommunication. I'm told you were expecting me yesterday.
No, no trouble. No trouble at all. That's the 1587, I hope.
Of course.
Good, good, good.
I mapped out some scene ideas. Would you like to?
No. Let's chat a bit first.
Ah, okay.
Tell me about your people.
My
Family.
right.
Has that become an archaic term since I've left London?
No, just okay.
Breathe, John.
I come from a country village, kind of like this. Quiet, nice. My father, my cousins, brothers, lots of preachers.
Preachers.
Yes. Right, preachers. After a few years of this, I imagine I'll be a preacher myself.
A few years.
Yes.
From the theater to the church.
Stranger things have happened.
I suppose so.
I think it was Hal, wasn't it, who said something along the lines of, you have to start among the lonely before you... He started out youthful and vagrant, and that made him better later for kingship. That I I blundered that.
No, I think I understand.
Right, like I like those Hal plays a lot, by the way.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I thought of Kemp the other day.
Kemp.
Will Kemp, before your time, perhaps.
Oh, no, I never saw him, but of course I've heard of him.
Everyone has.
I'm sorry, I'm just a little starstruck.
I just write plays, John.
Just plays.
Give it some time. People will forget them. You'll bury me one of these days.
I really doubt that.
You're going to have to. You know what? let's talk about Henry VIII.
Yes, yes,
About Wolsey, the cardinal. You've been reading your Holinshead, yes?
absolutely.
Very good. Now, this character, I'm very concerned about the...
First up, sorry, but I was wondering if you could read something that I wrote.
Oh,
Just on the way over, I got this down. I wondered if you might take a look at it.
sure.
John hands a paper to him. Will takes it, inspects it.
A prologue.
Start from the start, right? Well,
Honestly, it won't serve.
huh?
John, you're begging the audience to like this thing before it's even started.
Well,
Let fall a tear. The subject will deserve it.
it's a heavy.
No, you're telling them how to feel, John. They know how to feel. They don't need to be coached.
Yes, right.
And then there's the anti-comedy sentiment.
Wait, what?
I come no more to make you laugh. What's wrong with laughter?
Nothing.
No, just history is higher, yes?
Yeah.
No,
No?
no.
I'm not sure I.
So there's no room for Falstaff then?
Huh?
It's history, so no more laughter, just high subjects and high ideas, yes? No room for Falstaff.
Well, I'll just hold on to it, just in case you change your mind.
Okay,
Okay?
okay.
How's it going in there?
Good, good.
Two work in the background as Kemp takes center stage. A peasant woman finds herself surrounded by clouds, and she thinks, "Now I haven't had that much ale, have I?" And she sees a man in white in front of a golden gate looking over a list of names. Says he, "Have a seat, Peter will be with you shortly." Woman looks around at the clouds, takes a seat. Well, eventually St. Peter comes out the gate and greets her. Apologizes for the delay. Lots of trouble building new real estate for the influx of folk coming into heaven, and the woman freezes. Says she, "Oh, shite, I'm dead then?" It says Peter, "Yes, but I haven't any time to see if you're good or not. I'm going to give you one word. Spell it right, you're in. Wrong, and we'll have to transfer you over to Lucifer." And this woman starts to panic. Says she, "Oh, it's the word then." And Peter says, "Spell love." Well, she does, and she enters the pearly gates. But she's a low-ranking angel, so she finds herself on gate duty often. One day, her old husband comes up to the gate and tells her how he found a beautiful wench after she died, how he never felt happier than when she croaked, and how very surprised he is to see such a terrible shrew as she there. And he asks her, "So am I in, or no?" And says she, "You have to spell a word to get in." "And what's that?" says he. And she says, "Conscience." Mm. Who wants to hear some shake rags? End scene. 1598. Henry IV Part 2 has had a hugely popular run of performances. The audiences have eaten up Will Kemp. He was already the most popular actor in London. Now he can't walk down the streets without inspiring a frenzy. This vulgar, middle-aged man has become the first Liszt, the first Beatle. But Will and Dick's futures are far from settled. They sit in Antonio's tavern. Dick has a beer in front of him. Will has a milk.
Do we even have a name for it?
To be determined.
7 mouths to feed.
And Kemp counts for 2.
And how will we even build this thing?
The answer is right in front of us, Dick.
What's that?
We disassemble the theater.
Yes.
And we use those materials to build our space.
Dear God.
It's rightfully ours. He won't sue.
You're crazy.
Have any better ideas?
I guess not. What do we open with? He's a good character.
Oh, bloody Falstaff.
I'm sorry.
So, Henry IV, Part 3.
Henry V. Henry IV is dead, remember?
At least he's staying dead.
Antonio comes up to their table. How are my favorite actors?
Thirsty.
Will the Merrymaker. A drink for Will the Merrymaker.
On me, Antonio, and another for me, too.
Maybe we'll get you up to 2 someday.
The way things are going lately.
Antonio exits. A young man enters.
I'm not here.
Huh?
The young man tries to hide himself, but a young woman comes in and spots him.
Ah, you stood there. Low down, good for nothing.
Not in public.
Ain't public.
Public house.
Smart mouth you got there.
She attempts to chase after him. Will gets between them.
Has he offended you, madam?
Don't you madam at me.
I'll call you what you are, and that's a madam. Has he wronged you?
She's crazy.
Why, you.
Speak to me so that I may do right by you.
You've a fancy way of talking.
If I have, it's acquired to deal in the city. I'm a country fellow by birth.
Yeah. Whereabouts?
Oh, Stratford-upon-Avon, praise God.
Praise him indeed. A fair place.
Yeah, nice.
No one asked you.
Ah, a powerful woman.
Don't you scold me.
Oh, no, on the contrary. The finest of ladies gives her lover the gift of meekness. Her burden is light when his lass is strong. The soft woman breeds restless boys, effeminate yet rough. The woman of power breeds a man of dignity.
I hadn't thought of that.
Then more the praise to you, for you did right without thought, which is the purest right of all.
Are you a nobleman?
No.
Flirting with him now?
You have room to talk.
Madam, his offense.
He's untrue.
Untrue.
Before God.
Untrue before God is a mighty offense indeed. How can you buy this offense?
A friend told me
Told you what, sweet lady?
that he had another.
Bullshit!
Who asked you?
Oh, and she pointed to this other, surely.
Yeah?
She pointed you to the one who wronged you, certainly, the friend she is.
She didn't mention.
Oh, and the time and place. Thorough friend she was.
I haven't asked her.
Oh, don't ask her, madam.
Don't?
It would show little trust, and you, being a woman of great trust, would do her wrong to ask.
Oh,
Now, what evidence did she present?
a handkerchief I'd given the devil himself.
Ah, what did it look like?
It was white.
Just white.
Yeah.
Might the friend, the good, true friend, have mistaken it for another?
Maybe.
And being the good, true friend that she is, have jumped at the opportunity to do you good.
Maybe.
Yes.
We'll hear of you when we need.
So what you're saying is, I was wrong.
Oh, am I saying that?
I am.
Oh, well, far be from it for me to contradict you.
See, you ought to learn trust.
But don't you see, young
Henry.
Henry, good king's name, chap.
Thank you.
I compliment your father, not you. The fair lady, her sin was not mistrust.
Wasn't?
No, but too much trust.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, you've done it again, Chappie.
Now, you do well to keep her favor, boy Henry. A lady of such trust and character comes along infrequently.
Come along, you. And you thank this good man.
Thank.
I believe I'd like his gratitude in private, madam, if that is agreeable with you. Public gratitude is most distasteful.
Oh. Okay.
Will kisses her hand. She exits.
Listen, man, I really appreciate.
Listen here,
Will
boy.
grabs him by the throat.
You wrong her again. I will meet you where, when, how, and with what I dare. Understood?
Young man signals agreement. Will releases him.
Now, away.
Yeah. See ya, man.
You've done it again, Chappie.
Ah, Dick,
Yeah.
we've spoken so much about how to open this new theater. What will close our old one?
Does it matter?
Our audience, they deserve something special. Imagine this, a tale of mirth and joy for the Christmas season.
They'll all be home for the holidays.
No, Dick, they won't. I can sense it. They'll pack in our theater, the sun will shine through for the day, and we'll give them a story of love, of family, of forgiveness. A comedy.
Falstaff.
That can wait for the new place. Forget him for now. Let us enjoy the theater, the people who have done us so much good. Well, we can. Business can wait. Let's delay the future for a moment. Let's give them something funny, Dick. A little tale about nothing.
End scene. Stratford, 1612. John knocks furiously away at Will's door. Finally, Will enters. Slow, not well. He opens the door.
John, you're here late. Milk?
Skip it.
John goes to the work desk and begins setting up.
Where's Anne?
Eh,
Where's Anne?
she has work. She paid for half of this. Farming, tenants, even at her age. Are you sure I can't interest you in milk?
Will.
Why weren't you here earlier? What?
Knocked at 6 o'clock like you said.
Huh?
Anne says, oh, you better let him sleep. I go away.
Oh,
8 o'clock.
shit.
No answer.
Oh boy.
Every hour on the hour.
You didn't knock at 1 o'clock.
What?
I was up by 1 o'clock. You weren't here then.
I gave up at noon.
Well, there you go.
I'm done.
What did I do?
What do you do?
Here we go.
1.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, John, we're writing a play in 2 weeks.
Will goes off and gets some.
Late. When I know for a fact I wasn't, so we have 13 days. 2. This is the outline, John. Here are the scenes you're writing, here are mine. You get all the anticlimactic ones.
I gave you the ending.
3. Is this any good, Will? It'll do. Should I change it? No.
We had 13 days.
4. Will, can I read that scene? No, it's not ready yet. John, let me read that scene. Can I work on it a little more first? Running out of time, John. It'll do. Nice knowing you.
Anything else you want to put on the table? 1. Our audience expects plays, lots of them. If you always want to revise, you need to know how to make 2 weeks for a draft work, because Dick needs his scripts fast. 2. Henry VIII was the first play I wanted to write. I figure a hell of a way to begin, The king who birthed the England we know today, a history play, yet a moment fresh in our memory. I was about your age. I just wanted to write. That's all I knew for certain, and that I had to meet Kit Marlowe. Surprisingly easy to track someone down if you have the spare change for their friends. So I meet Kit and tell him I want to write this thing, that I think it would be great for him and Mr. Edward Allen, and he says, "You want me and Ed getting put away? That's Her Majesty's father you're talking about." So he asks me if I've heard of James Burbage, and I say, yes. He has a theater, one that's past its prime, but a theater nonetheless. Well, he tells me James's son is trying to make a name for himself, so he says he can put me in touch with him. Great, he's blowing me off. So I'm heading out the door thinking, well, I tried. Guess there's always glove making. And Kit tells me, start with a comedy, something light. And I head back to my flat and I think, fuck that guy. He doesn't think I can write a damn history play. But I kept thinking about it and I realized that's how all the masters have started. They wrote comedy, something pastoral, and then they wrote about the times they lived in and they dressed it up like history. That's what Virgil did. Kit Marlowe gave me a compliment. That's what I told myself anyways. So I go meet Dick, hand him a bawdy little comedy, and here we are. Maybe I should have let you have more say. I've never been much of a collaborator. My etiquette is lacking. Where this play goes, though, where the globe goes, that's in your hands now. 3. I've lost it. The stories used to keep coming and coming, John, but now I don't know. Did you see The Tempest? That seemed like it was it, didn't it? 20 years in the theater. Most people don't get that long. Kit certainly didn't. You should go. There's nothing I can give you now.
It's only been 5 days, Will.
6.
Huh?
You got here a day late.
I did not get here a day late.
Well, you're wasting your time on me. I've got nothing left.
You're not even trying.
Will hands him a couple pieces of paper.
What's that?
What I wrote last night.
This is it?
I had a seance until dawn.
What?
Not a seance, more like a whirlwind writing session. This is what came out of it.
Dick reads the papers. Kemp appears. Is there no way to cure this? No new device? No. Then farewell. I touched the highest point of my greatness, a full meridian of glory, and from that state I shall hasten out to my setting. I shall fall like a bright exhalation in the evening, and no man see me more.
We'll want to fuse it more with your voice, of course.
Why can't every scene be like this?
Because that is all I've got.
End scene. 1598. Dick and Will sit in Antonio's tavern. Dick has Will's first draft of Much Ado About Nothing in front of him.
Well,
It's
you hate it.
no, it's this is dark, Will. Are you okay, Will?
Never better.
It's just well, geez, man, is this your idea of a comedy?
I can't challenge the muse. My mind just seemed to go somewhere different.
That's what concerns me. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Excuse me?
Never mind.
Leave it alone, Dick. Is it still performable?
Are you kidding me? It's great. the tragedy, the rage of Beatrice, the beauty of Messina. How do you keep doing this?
Well, don't jinx me now.
So, Condell for Don John?
No, obviously, Edmund for hero,
Absolutely.
and you for Claudio. What?
Nothing.
You want Benedict.
I really want Benedict.
For the love of God.
It's not just because he's the lead.
It's not just because he's the lead.
He's so charming, Will. Just such a delight. Will, please, I have to play him.
Claudio's not a small role.
He's not.
And he's perfect for you.
Of course he is, but you want to get Benedict right, Will. Believe me. We can skimp on Claudio a little. Benedict, are you telling me you want Kemp ruining this thing?
Who said anything about Kemp?
You?
No, what? No. Who has the audacity to play the lead in their own show?
Then who?
Allen.
Huh?
Edward Allen.
You're kidding.
No.
Edward Allen is joining our company?
Well, no.
Huh?
I came across him the other day. Her Majesty wants him to act just once more, and then she'll let him retire permanently. He hates it, but what can he do? So, Allen for Benedict.
But then what about for repertoire?
We're not doing this show in repertoire.
Are you kidding me?
One run only to celebrate the end of
The end of the theater, the birth of the globe, Christmas, family, all that crap. Will, we're running a business here.
You remember the Christmas plays of our youth? Those companies didn't make anything off them, but they sacrificed their Yuletide and their families out of love, Dick, out of love for us and for the theater. It's time for us to give back too.
How sentimental.
One run only.
All right. And who's Kemp playing?
Jack Falstaff, who, as we all know, is dead.
You mean
Insane. 1612, Stratford. John knocks. Will answers promptly.
Good morning.
Morning, Will.
John comes in. They set up at the work desk.
So,
We have a script,
it needs some edits.
which are up to you, of course.
You're really sure? I could use some
Oh, it's your
theater now. I know.
yes. I'm sorry. I wish I had more left for you, but
It's okay.
there's an ending.
There is. Well,
It's good.
yeah?
Lovely writing, satisfying, justified, and yet somewhat unexpected. The joyous portent for young Queen Elizabeth will be a real crowd pleaser.
Well, that's great.
Let's talk. I'll get some milk.
As that happens, Dick appears just before a performance of Henry VIII or All Is True.
everybody has their props, Richard? Good, good. Yes, I'll always ask. Condell, you're straight on the Cardinals monologue, yes? You know which one. Good. You're an excellent Catherine, Richard. You know that? Is something on your mind? Well, I suppose you could grow up and keep acting if you wanted. I mean, of all people, I'm the last one who can tell you no. I couldn't tell you how to have that conversation with your father, though. It is exciting, isn't it, Richard? That doesn't go away. Not for people like you and me, at least. To me, it always feels like it's the first time and the last time every time I go out. The cannons are ready, yes?
So these couple guys, they tell Dick and me, well, we think it may be time for Richard II. Have it ready for Thursday. Now, Dick and I, we know these guys. We'd see them around the court before the changing incident happened. These guys are with the Earl of Essex, and they say, it may do you some good down the line. And they say, and I say, well, what about now? And John, they reach to their sides real slowly, and they pull out these bags. And in these bags, there's more money than I've ever seen in my life. And my father kept some questionable bags of cash around the house now and again, if you catch my drift.
Right.
So we take the money, we tell them, we'll see what we can do. And just as they're walking away, they say, we want the whole thing. Dick and I look at each other and say, we understand.
Meaning?
They want the deposition scene.
There was a deposition scene?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Now, we'd never done that scene before. No one's seen that scene, except for me, Dick, and the censor, that is. The lead up to this show, John, it's horrible. I don't sleep at all. I try to leave behind a will, but I can't write a word. I never thought of how unsettling writing a will could be. The day of, I go over the deposition lines over and over, repeating them like a madman. The rest of the company, they can't believe it. Dick and I just keep telling them it's okay. We have permission from the Queen. And then we perform.
Uh-huh.
Pandemonium. I'm worried that any second this crowd is going to burn the globe down. It's all going to come to an end. It'll all have been for nothing. I start thinking of Anne, of Judith, of what will happen to them. I swear, I see my son coming toward me, reaching out his hand. I see Kit in his coffin. But we get through the show. And I run backstage, and our stage manager comes up to me and says, the Earl of Essex rebelled against the Queen and failed. Her Majesty has demanded to see you.
Shit.
So they take me to her. And she just stands there with her back to me. And then she says, I understand you put on a play today.
Uh-huh.
And I say, yes. And she says, what was it? And I just stand there. I realize there's no way out of it. And all I can say is, the life and death of King Richard II. She nods. And she says, you know of Essex Rebellion, yes? And I say, oh, I heard after the show. She says, you can understand why the timing intrigues me. I'm thinking, she has nothing on me. There's no proof. And then I think to myself, that doesn't matter. She's the Queen, you get. And she comes up to me, looks me in the eyes and screams, I am Richard II. Don't you get it? And then she makes me recite every word of that deposition scene, John. I'm so flustered. I'm trying to remember all of Dick's lines. And she says, perhaps we should bring him in too. And it's quiet for a long, long time. Finally, she asks, will we ever see Kemp again? And I have to tell her, he's ill beyond repair, Your Majesty. And she says, I miss him dearly. And then she says, if not merry wives, may we at least see midsummer in the spring? And I say yes. And she says, good.
And that's it.
Beyond watching my back every moment for the next week, yes.
Wow. Did you want him to succeed?
It didn't matter. If we had told them no and he had succeeded, we would have been the first on the block. If we had said yes and he had succeeded, he would have never lost sight of us. The question was what fate had in store. Essex always seemed destined for the throne. He had that certain something, that quality of power. I can't imagine his rule would have lasted. Essex seemed a man on the last of his spark when he made that attempt at the throne. He couldn't let go that his destiny may have passed him by, that he allowed it to escape when he could have seized it. The monarchs, John, they only get a brief flash before they're gone. But they all get that flash, and they set the world ablaze.
Do you think I should change the ending?
That's for you to say.
End scene.
Dear Father, I hope all is well in London. All is calm in Stratford. We received your quarto of A Midsummer Night's Dream. We all found it delightful, as we find all your work. I only wish I could see the celebrated Will Kemp. We hear so much of play the silly weaver Bottom, who I believe is the finest character you've written yet. Father, I must be honest. It is my dream to act in your company. I know you say London is in danger of the plague, but I feel as though I'm trapped in Stratford, as though life has never truly begun for me, and I feel that I may never get to live my dream. Father, I must be an actor. I know you say it is an ignoble profession, but my life will be for nothing without it. I can't be a glove maker, Father. Surely you must understand that. Let me come to London and apprentice in your company. Besides, as we know, the plague is unpredictable. Maybe it is as likely to reach the countryside. Please consider, Father. Yours, Hamnet Shakespeare.
Our prayers may not help him, for he is truly at rest, united with the Father. We therefore commit his body to the ground, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Will looks out his window at London.
Now over the world, nature seems dead.
He dips his quill in ink, takes a moment, mutters.
Someone to watch for the night, to keep them safe.
The thought dawns on him. It's not the one he wants, but he can't question the message that has been sent to him.
God help me.
He writes. Kemp as Dogberry appears.
Being chosen for the prince's watch. First, who thinks you the most desertless man to be constable?
Dick, we need to talk.
God hath blessed you with a good name. To be a well-favored man is the gift of fortune, but to write and read comes by nature.
We need him.
Well, for your favor, sir, why give God thanks and make no boast of it.
I promise, just for this show, he will be left behind at the Globe.
And for your writing and reading, let that appear when there is no need of such vanity.
Yes, I promise. I have stories to tell in which he must have no part.
Dost thou not suspect my place? Dost thou not suspect my years?
Just not yet. Please, for my sake. Just one more show.
I am an ass.
And then I will deal with him myself.
Transition into December 1598. The theater.
Welcome! Welcome! I pray your humble patience. Indulge a lowly playwright for a moment. As some of you know, I am the other Will.
The audience laughs.
He'll be out soon. Want to give him a cheer?
The audience does, and so they do.
Tonight, we will be presenting our very last play in this space. What to you and I has simply been the theater. The play, then, is an ending and a beginning. An ending in that we say goodbye to a venue where we saw Richard lose his throne, Titus outwit his enemies, Merry Jack Falstaff. Well, you all know about Merry Jack Falstaff. A beginning in that we will see Hal ride into Agincourt, Caesar resurrected from his grave, and tragedies of the gravest sort. And in this in-between state, we bring you this little piece. Out of fondness for you, we have borne this winter's cold to tell a tale worthy of the Yuletide, a piece of love, family, and forgiveness. And for this run only, we are happy to say that Mr. Edward Allen has returned to grace the stage with his genius.
The audience erupts.
We thank each and every one of you for coming to the theater again and again just to see us tell humble stories. We will see you soon at the Globe, where we hope humble stories will be told long after we're gone, where there will be kings, battles, shipwrecks, clowns, ghosts, and what's most incredible, true love prevail.
John Fletcher enters as messenger.
But for now, it is my pleasure to present to you Much Ado About Nothing. What's this?
Will, as Leonardo, takes the message.
My dear Will, I thought it would be best to hear it from me.
I learn in this letter that Don Pedro of Aragon comes this night to Messina.
During last night's showing of All Is True,
how many gentlemen have you lost in this action?
There is no easy way to say this.
The victory is twice itself when the achiever brings home full numbers.
During the show, an accident with the cannon caused the roof to catch fire.
I find here that Don Pedro hath bestowed much honor on a young Florentine called Claudio.
While none are hurt,
He hath an uncle here in Messina who will be very much glad of it.
the globe has burned down irreparably.
Did he break out into tears?
I am sending this message ahead of me with John. I will arrive in Stratford shortly after.
Kind overflow of kindness.
No, I must deliver it myself.
There are no faces truer than those that are so washed.
End scene. Act break.
Act 2. The day after Christmas, 1598. Will paces around the stage of the theater. The holiday decorations have been taken down, save for some minor traces. He looks out into the crowd, now empty. Kemp enters, out of his costume.
Still here? Well, fine show tonight.
Yes,
It's been a hell of a run. Lovely piece, Will. I'll miss it.
thank you. They loved Dogberry.
Yes, well, I suppose good night then.
Stay a while.
Kemp considers, sits on the stage.
They responded well to the ass lines.
Yes.
I told you.
It went on too long, Kemp.
Oh, come off it.
Dick and I, we had one of those moments tonight. Locked in we were, he and I. There was that moment of stillness between the old man and Claudio. Forgiveness on my end, repentance on Dick's. Understanding. It was all in that stare. And then I hear erupting through the space something about white and black.
The lines we agreed on. You heard the audience. They know. They always know. What you described, that's not the thing. The thing was the constable who, I must say it, Will, brings it all to life. I'm sorry to say it, but that's how it is. Claudio and Hero? So what? They know how it ends. They've seen it before. No one sees what you see. They want the merry fool. That's what they come for.
Kemp gets up
You
to
write
go.
your plays, Will. I'll make it so people see them.
Kemp,
Kemp stops.
there's no easy way to say this, but I'm afraid I can't work with you any longer. I know this is probably unexpected. I truly want you to know, though, that you have been such a great...
Stop. So that's it, is it? The globe has room for everything, but not Falstaff.
Sorry.
Stop it! That's it? Our plans, our money, our history, it's all for nothing?
Dick and I will compensate you for what you've invested, of course, and for your time here.
Will hands Kemp a bag. Kemp looks inside, throws the coins from the bag at Will.
Keep your silver, Judas. I built you. What will become of you without me? We're tied. I am you, and you are me.
I made my way before you, and I will make my way after you. I've done my duty to you. Good night.
Will, please. Look at me.
Kemp lifts his shirt, revealing his sores.
Dear God.
Gets worse every day, Will. I swear.
Kemp, have you seen a doctor about this?
Have him fill me with mercury?
I don't know what to say. Any help you need, Dick and I are willing to provide.
I don't want your charity. Just give me a couple years, please. Let me die making the people happy. I'll work for nothing. 2 years, and I'll be dead and gone. You can lay Falstaff to rest then, please.
No, I can't. Kemp, you need to get help. Anything I can do, I will be there for, but you can't put your body
You can't
through...
take my stage away from me! In your dying days, I wouldn't rip the quill from your hands. Please. I can't die in the streets with mercury in my veins. Let me entertain them, Will.
I can't. I'm sorry.
White hairs, they'll become a fool and jester, yes? I will dance across England and into my grave, reciting your damned poetry without an ounce of valor, cursing you at the gates and consorting with Lucifer so you have brave tortures when you reach hell.
Doesn't have to end this way, Kemp.
Damn you and damn your globe to ashes and ruin. What did I do to set you so against me? Petulant child. Illusions of authorial grandeur. Back to the dime store with you, poet. You're deceiving them all, but I see you. Your magic will run out. Your days are numbered too, sweet prince.
He exits. End scene.
1612, just a couple weeks before Christmas. Will's home. Dick sits across from Will.
If it makes you feel better, everyone made it out okay. One man's ass caught fire. He kept running and running around in circles, screaming, very drunk he was. Then two guys threw him down and poured a bottle of ale on him. But when the flame was extinguished, the crowd erupted in applause. After that, we performed the rest of the show to the delight of the crowd. One of the best applauses we ever received.
How much of the show was left?
Almost all of it. We had only performed up until the mask scene at Wolsey's house.
Not even through Act 1. And which performance was this?
The third.
Ah, and I suppose this will be the last performance.
Yes, for now.
That was Fletcher's direction. Drum and trumpet. Chambers discharged. I thought it might be unnecessary, but that didn't stop him. Third performance. Seems the globe was trying to put itself out of its misery.
I very much enjoyed playing Henry.
It's not how.
Nothing ever could be.
It's my fault. There's a God, he's punishing me for breaking my promise to Anne. He gave us a clear ending, Dick. There was Prospero and Arya. But I was tempted. I strayed from her. Again.
I asked her before I wrote you, Will.
Huh?
I asked her if I could ask you to write another play, and she said yes. As many plays as I could get out of you. She worries about you, Will. She says you talk about death.
I suspect it's coming for me soon.
Are you unwell?
I feel as though I'm not myself.
We will press on, Will. We always have. You remember when the Globe began, those early days?
How could I forget? Dick, why did you choose John?
Are you serious?
He only had the couple plays. He lacks the talent. And he wants to be a preacher. You disagree?
You really don't see it.
See what?
He has the spark, Will. Have you heard the way he talks about you? The theater, the Globe? Kit and Ben and Kid, he's in awe. He loves writing plays. He's already given his life to it, whether he realizes it yet or not. He's you.
End scene. Spring 1599. Antonio's Tavern. Dick sits with two empty glasses in front of him, impatiently waiting for Will. Antonio passes by the table. Another drink?
I should wait.
The young man and young woman, now married, enter. The young woman holds a baby in her arms.
What do you mean you want a drink?
I mean, I want a drink.
It's your turn to look after the feckin' baby.
Don't curse in front of my child.
So you admit it's your child.
Hey, I don't want any kids in here.
Don't worry, he's leaving.
Kill me, please.
Hey, it's that guy's friend. You remember him?
Don't you know anything? That's Dick Burbage.
No shit. Dude, you look so different off stage.
Thank you.
Where the fuck is Kemp, man? Your friend said Kemp was coming back and he wasn't there. It's bogus, man. What the hell? Apparently he's distancing you guys.
What have you been doing at the theater?
I'm going to have to ask you two. To get out now, please.
It's bullshit, man. Bullshit.
You and your hooers.
Get out!
Your friend an actor too? Tell him to call on me as one of his characters. Oh, an actor!
Want one on the house?
Yes.
Antonio exits. Will enters in a huff.
Whew, Ben Johnson is insane.
Will collapses at the table.
Told you.
You know what he just did?
What?
He tried to fight me.
No shit.
Because of that stupid fucking seal. He kept screaming, "You think you're too good for us now? Now that you have some fancy coat of arms?"
Could have been much worse.
And doesn't he have a seal?
He's crazy.
Plays are good, though.
Yes, they are.
And we were screwing him out of so much money.
And he doesn't even care.
Also, as I was walking away, he yelled, "Oh, and regarding Henry V, best one yet."
He didn't.
And when he says something kind,
He means it.
he called you the best actor in England.
Well, with Kemp and Allen gone now.
Just take the compliment.
Well, I'm glad he likes it. The audiences have been energized, to say the least.
Give it time. It's only been 2 performances. They're still getting over Kemp.
It's quite an experience hearing an audience start a show booing and end cheering.
Isn't it grand?
It might just work, Will.
I have a new play for us.
Puts the
Jesus.
manuscript on the table.
It's done already?
The Tragedy of Julius Caesar.
How did you do this?
I haven't been sleeping well lately.
What's wrong?
And I started another one.
Huh?
Remember that ghost play we met at?
Oh, God.
Hamlet. Revenge.
Shrill. Terrible.
I think there's something there. I'm rewriting it.
Revenge tragedy?
No, darker.
Jesus.
And I've been rereading Chaucer. I have another idea there.
Will, are you okay? You didn't go home for Christmas
The whole company stayed in London.
because you didn't want to go home. Antonio told me about your letter.
That was private.
You need to go home.
No.
They need you.
Dick, please.
I'm worried that if you don't, you'll be next.
I'm not going anywhere.
Go to Stratford.
I'm not going to die, Dick. Jesus, I have plays to write.
You always will. If not for your father, go for Anne.
Okay.
Also, you've got to stop playing matchmaker.
End scene. 1612. Will's home. The day after Christmas. The holiday decorations are still up. Anne is off stage.
Anne, you need to put the decorations up. Let's go.
We're not putting them up yet.
What do you mean we're not putting them up? Christmas is over. Let's go.
Christmas season isn't over. Give it until after New Year's.
After New Year's.
There are 12 days of Christmas, Will. Have some fucking cheer in your life.
I will be merry when I please.
A knock on the door.
Anne, who is it?
Season's greetings. I got you paper.
John throws a massive stack of paper onto the floor.
The hell are you doing?
Also, you get to write a play with me. Merry Christmas.
What?
You thought our last play was terrible. You owe me a good one. We are writing now.
Anne!
You picked the topic last time. I get to pick this one.
Throws Will a copy of Don Quixote.
You're familiar with this one, I presume?
Anne!
The Cardenio plotline could make for a good...
Anne! Get the hell in here!
He's staying until you write the damn play, Will.
What?
We have 1 week.
Are you insane?
That's all the time I ask. It's half what you normally do.
Dear God.
We'll do some seances.
Anne! He wants to kill me!
Time is of the essence, Will.
God save me.
End scene. 1599, Stratford. Will and Anne sprawled exhausted, spent on their bed, the infamous second best bed. After sufficient recovery time.
I need to come home more often.
Do.
Judith is out of the house, right?
Too late now.
Whew, shit.
Well, if she was here, she probably left.
I would hope.
How's London?
London's London.
Poetic.
Stratford?
Same as always. Business is good.
Should we hire help?
No. I have volunteer hands now and then.
Him?
You know it is. You don't get to do that.
What?
You don't get to just say, oh, let's have people on the side, and then be upset when I have someone.
Can we not do this now? I'm just supposed to feel okay that someone's fucking my wife.
When you're fucking other people and never home.
There's a difference between, you can be accepting of something happening, but also feel bad it's happening at the same time. Like Ireland, for example.
Oh my God.
No. Keep screwing it. Just don't expect me to like it.
Fine.
What's wrong?
Why does it have to be like this?
I don't know. It's odd. When a man strays, it seems expected, natural. When it's a woman, it seems monstrous.
Do you hear how wrong that is?
I want to get better, Anne. I just can't seem to get away from it.
Do you really want to keep doing this? Okay.
Just don't mention Thomas Green to me.
Then don't let me get a hold of any more of those sonnets.
Some of them were about you.
Hate away. Yay, one. Remember when we first met? The poetry you'd write for me.
Oh, Christ.
I thought it was cute.
Couldn't even get the form down.
Like when we first.
Oh, stop.
You couldn't even find it.
Where would I have learned that?
I mean, shouldn't it just kind of come naturally?
Not for me, apparently.
Well, I'm glad it didn't. Just how hard you were trying. I felt so happy.
Oh, you were laughing at me.
Not at you.
Yes.
At how happy I was that it was happening. I mean, by all measures, it was terrible sex, terrible poetry, but from you then, I couldn't have wanted anything else. When you were down there, figuring it out, that's when I realized I loved you.
Will holds her.
Come home.
I can't.
We're secure. The investments keep growing and growing. You can come work in Stratford.
What? Take over my father's business?
You could.
I wouldn't be happy. I'm sorry, I have to write, Anne.
You could write here.
Not plays. I need to be with the company.
Write poetry. You made more doing that.
It's not the same. 10 years. Give me 10 years and I'll be done. I know it can't last forever. 10 years would be a miracle. But please, Anne. It won't last forever.
It's been 10 years already, Will.
So it has.
Ten more.
I promise. Sometimes I feel this bed is all I've given you.
If all I ever have of you is your second best bed, well, I mean, at least that's something. And there are your plays. That Beatrice role. William Shakespeare, you make me jealous of those scrawny brats.
Oh, Anne, why did you remind me of those pipsqueaks?
What? Are you saying little boys shouldn't be playing grown women? Oh, Will, what would Her Majesty say?
Oh, if Liz knew half as much as she thought she did, she'd realize she's getting half a show.
Yeah. Judith is the best audience there is, as far as I'm concerned. We've been reading from Much Ado lately.
Oh, if she becomes hero, I will castrate her, Claudio.
She's good.
She's your daughter.
What's next?
The last Henry play is in repertoire now, of course. Julius Caesar next. Chaucer soon after.
Anything for the ladies?
Oh boy.
You can write those, Will, by all means, but write one for us. Something with young love and wit and bad poetry.
Something for you and Judith to recite?
Yes.
As you like it. I'm in the middle of a new one. I think this could be the one that lasts.
They all will.
If just one does, it'll be this one. Believe me. Could you? I'm worried the lady lead won't match the male. Could you read it?
Always.
Will gives her the sides.
No, she's in mourning. Her mind's not all there. She's on the brink.
There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray, love, remember. And there's pansies. That's for thoughts. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they withered all when my father died. They say a maid a good end.
And then,
And will and not come again. And will and not come again. No, he's dead and gone. He is dead and gone. Go to thy deathbed. He will never come again.
that's exactly it.
She's going to kill herself.
Is it any good?
Hamlet.
Shit.
I wasn't supposed to see that.
No.
Well, it'll be good.
I'm sorry.
Do you think of him often?
Every day.
That little?
Every moment I let linger.
End scene. New Year's Day, 1613. Paper covers the floor of the Shakespeare's home. The residence is in utter disarray. Will sits at his desk reading the last pages of Cardenio to himself. John is sprawled out on the floor, exhausted.
How is it?
I think if this play went missing, no one would miss it.
How bad could it be?
Will hands a piece of paper to him. John reads it.
Oh, Christ. Did I write that?
Who even remembers?
Will slumps his head down onto his desk.
I want to sleep forever.
Oh, what's happening in there?
We're done, Anne.
Already?
Will nods lazily, unable to make a verbal response. He keeps his face down on the desk.
I'm sorry I made you do this.
No talk, just Let me rest for the love of God, John.
John takes the manuscript.
Can we still use it?
Why not?
All right.
John stands up. No, not happening. Collapses back down.
Can I stay the night here?
Oh, I don't care.
Great. It's that bad?
It's that bad.
Maybe it's the subject.
You picked it.
I was in a hurry to get here. First book I grabbed. Maybe if I'd gotten Spencer or something, it would have gone better. Or Chaucer or Homer or...
Chaucer.
Yeah, as an example, Chaucer.
Wait right there.
Will goes off stage.
And do we have the Canterbury Tales?
What?
Chaucer, do we have it?
Hold on, I'll get it.
Will walks back into the room, a bit dazed, the wheels in his brain still running. Then it erupts.
Get up. Get up!
John does so. Will stacks papers onto the desk. He takes a seat at his desk and begins scratching out bits of dialogue, fast traces of characters as they flicker across his brain, plot points, memories, trying to get all of these messages down at once.
Anne, for the love of God, do we have it?
Anne comes on stage and hands him the book. Will flips through the first pages of it. It's as he wanted. Anne exits. John watches. Here, at last, is what Dick had pretended. The master is awakened. He contemplates his next move, but is there one to make? It's as if he's watching a play himself. Anne enters and sets a glass of milk on the very top corner of Will's desk.
Tell me if you need anything else.
Will nods. She goes. As she's almost off, she looks at him once more. His being remains engrossed in Arcite, Palamon, Amelia, Theseus. She feels heaviness in the air. She feels helpless. She exits. As if trapped in limbo, John continues to watch Will. It's as if John's eyes are fixed on the birth of a celestial child, and his smallness, and yet also his implicit involvement with the divine, forces him to be irrevocably immersed in this experience. It's like watching a sacrament be performed for the first time. Insane. 1610, Dick's apartment. A manuscript sits on his table. Will and Dick sit across from each other. Silence.
Well, it's not entirely out of the blue. Still, I had hoped this day would never come.
I understand.
This is it.
I think so.
You really think you can stay away?
I have to try. 10 years, I told her, Dick. It's been 11.
Well, it won't be the same without you. Quite a play to be going out on. Where did you even find this story anyways? You're kidding.
It seems I had an original story in me after all.
Well, congratulations. What were you thinking for casting? You'll be with us for this one, won't you?
Yes, of course.
Good. Condell for Ferdinand?
Obviously. Nicholas for Miranda.
Absolutely.
And you for Prospero. What?
I can't.
Then who?
End scene. The early hours of January 2nd, 1613. John asleep in the workroom. Will finishing up some writing.
John.
Will softly touches John's shoulder.
John.
Hmm?
Are you awake?
Will?
I wrote the first act.
What?
And the first scene of Act 2.
What time is it?
I outlined what comes next.
Huh?
The next 2 scenes, I want you to write them.
You're sure you want me in on this?
What do you mean?
If you want this to be...
You're my collaborator, and it's your theater now.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to go to sleep. Wake me up when you're done.
John goes to the work desk.
Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. How's the day?
On the 6th hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease.
I did say so. Spirit, thou shalt everlong be free.
Do you love me, master? No.
Dearly, my delicate Ariel.
They embrace. A moment.
I shall miss thee.
Will rests. John reads over some of Will's work. He reflects. He writes a little, mutters to himself.
Cousin, where is Thebes now? Where is our noble country? Like age, we must run to rust and deck the temples of those gods that hate us.
Beat. Anne enters with 2 glasses of milk. She hands one to John. They look to the sleeping Will. Anne takes the other glass for herself. She kisses John's forehead and goes back to bed. John sips from his glass. He gets up and wanders over to the window. He looks out. Snow is falling. After a spell, he turns away and paces a little. Then he watches his mentor sleep.
Why should I love this gentleman? To marry him is hopeless. To be his whore is witless. First I saw him. I, seeing, thought he was a goodly man. Next, I pitied him. Then I loved him.
End scene.
The residence of John Shakespeare in Stratford-upon-Avon, 1599. John turns on the light, looks over the room, and then goes over to his work desk. We see him take an unfinished pair of gloves and work intimately with them. The activity commands his entire focus, mobilizes every ounce of himself. It's a trance-like state, one that he's been in almost every day of his prime decades, and now in the declining years of his life. His body shakes. He's grown feeble, but he remains a master of his craft. He looks at the gloves, close to completion, stroking them softly with the tips of his fingers. He holds them to his nose. He moves them just away from his face, looks at them, pondering. Will enters. They take each other in.
Mother says you're leaving? It's London, then.
Yes,
How long will you keep that up, do you suppose?
until I no longer can.
Until you're dead.
John,
That itch you feel, it never goes away, you know.
There'll come a point when I won't be able to anymore.
But you'll do it anyways. It's how we are. None of it fades, Will. All that fades is you.
You're reading your books too much,
I could say the same of you.
praying too much.
No such thing.
he finishes the gloves.
My grave is coming soon.
Don't talk that way.
I feel my creator coming. There's little time left to set things right. I ask about town, but none will speak to me. Those gore-bellied, clay-braid, rimpalious, hypocritical pieces of shit!
Bad.
I am owed my honor. The honor of our name, your mother's name.
Dad! You still believe those claims?
They aren't claims to me. Have you visited his grave? Did you pray for him?
Preachers don't seem to think there's a point.
If you won't pray for yourself, Will, at least pray for him.
It's everyone's religion now, you know.
Not mine.
You did good for Stratford, whether they recognize it or not.
For some of it. I have a lot to answer for. I hope when I face God, I'll have earned his forgiveness.
You've asked for it.
It's not that simple.
Can I see them?
John nods, hands Will the gloves. Will smells them, rubs the gloves against his face.
You really did have some talent for it.
I was never you.
If you can be, Hamnet would have gotten there.
You know, I can keep together an illusion of together anyways, most days, but when I hear his name,
Will begins to cry. John comforts his son. A time passes. John hands him the gloves.
Keep them. They were the last project he began. There'll be a piece of him and a piece of me.
don't talk that way.
My time is coming, Will. All that's left for me here is restoring our name.
Will feels the envelope in his pocket.
That's all?
Is it wrong that I want them to remember me as I was? Merry old Jack Shakespeare.
And if they don't?
Then our seal is enough.
Dad, here.
Will hands the envelope to his father. John opens it, takes out the paper in it.
Some poem, I presume?
Will walks the workspace. John reads the paper. Slowly, it all overtakes him. The tears well in his eyes.
Our coat of arms.
What's it matter when I'm the last who'll use it? For the repose of the souls of John and Hamnet Shakespeare. Oh, you heavenly charmer, what things you make of us. For what we lack, we laugh. For what we have are sorry, still are children in some kind. Let us be thankful for that which is, and with you lead dispute that are above our question. Let's go off and bear us like the time. That's it.
John Fletcher appears, still.
That's the last of it. John. John.
I would now ask ye how ye like the play, but as it is with schoolboys,
Oh, God.
cannot say. I am cruel fearful, pray yet stay a while, and let me look upon ye, no man smile. Then it goes hard, I see.
Lights fade on John performing the two noble kinsmen epilogue and scene. Lights up on John and Will. 2 weeks into 1613. John reads through Will's Act 5 writings. He finishes.
This is great, Will.
Thank you.
You've still got it.
I think it may be over, John.
I still need the final touches for the jailer's daughter scenes.
You'll manage them. I've finished, John.
Well, I'll pack for London then. You're sure it's done? Will I see you again?
I don't know, John. I don't think so.
So this is goodbye then.
It seems so.
Well, it's been an honor, Will. I never would have dreamed.
What? That you'd spend your holiday dealing with some old theater codger?
I'll never forget you.
Will extends his hand. John shakes it.
Do tell Anne goodbye before you go.
I will.
John takes up the manuscript, begins to go. Then,
Can I write, Will?
What?
Can I write?
Well, you wrote that, didn't you? I don't know, John. I don't know if any of this will last. Even Kit. He seems to fade away more each year.
But do you think I can write?
I think you're good, John. I do.
But not...
You may have a great play in you. Do I expect it'll be easy? No. But your audiences will always be entertained, and maybe that's what matters most. You have that gift. Give them plays, John. Give them stories.
I will.
And tell Dick I send regards from Stratford.
John begins to go.
John,
He stops.
maybe I made it seem like it all came easy in those days, that there weren't scrapped papers and abandoned stories, verses I discarded, and characters I failed. Maybe I should have left behind the scraps, transcribed the verses scrawled on the trees, preserved the unfortunate sonnets for older women and others. Maybe if you knew where the stories ended in my head, if you'd seen the much ado that lingered in my brain rather than arrived in the paper. But John, when the room faded away and the words flew from my quill, when I saw Banquo's ghost in the corner, heard Beatrice laugh, woke up to the summer's day and knew there was something better, when Robin Goodfellow whispered so sweetly in my ear, when there was Falstaff, John, nothing seemed more natural.
Goodbye, Will.
Godspeed, John.
Will. Will.
Son of a bitch. Kit Marlowe.
Get over here, you ruffian.
My God. How are you?
Writing, you understand that.
Right.
Listen, I read your manuscript.
Uh-huh.
It's interesting, Will.
It is?
The violence, the relentless cruelty of it all. It's genius.
Christ.
This one's gonna break you, kid.
You think?
I know it. I can tell greatness, Will. This is the one. After this, everything changes.
So you'll produce it?
Oh, hell no. Absolutely not.
Oh.
You have to start a theater of your own, kid. England must be at war. You and I will fight. You must bury me, or I'll bury you. Or maybe there's a chance, Will, that you and I together will rule England, outlive the Queen herself. The plays we will write. Has there been a rivalry like this since Greece? You must build your theater. We are to become the soul of an age. We will live, Will. We will live.
I only write plays, Kit. Kit? Kit?
Blackout. When Will Shakespeare died, there was little fanfare. He was laid to rest not in the acclaimed Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey, but at the Anglican church he attended out of obligation. Shakespeare's will is legendarily shoddy and strange, puzzling scholars and fans for centuries. One note in particular has been of considerable debate. For Anne, the second best bed. On the basis of this note, many have contended that Anne and Will didn't love each other. After her husband's death, Anne maintained her routine in Stratford, and she continued to be successful in her business ventures. She held on for another 7 years, and then she was buried beside Will. Dick had died just the year before. He was a popular working actor right up until the day he died. He was mourned more than any other figure of the theater scene he helped build, more than Allen, more than Kemp, more than Will. The mourning was so pronounced, in fact, that it created scandal for the crown. The outpouring for Queen Anne, who had died just 10 days prior, did not equal the fervor surrounding Dick's death. Just one generation later, the Civil War broke out, Anne and King James's son Charles was executed, and a republic was instituted. Until Charles II took the throne, London's theaters endured nearly 20 years of forced closure. John Fletcher didn't live to see these events. Like King James, John died in 1625. In his lifetime, his popularity matched his mentors, but his fame severely waned since, right on through to the present day. Ben Jonson made it to 1637, hitting many plays for the Globe along the way. Ben knew his writings were his legacy, and as such, he lobbied for a spot in the Poets' Corner before he passed away. He got his wish, but to be fit in the already cramped area, he had to be buried standing up. He also self-funded a complete collection of his own works, some of which remain popular. Two actors in Will's company, Henry Condell and John Hemmings, were inspired in turn to collect the works of their deceased leader. They compiled 36 of Shakespeare's plays, with Henry VIII or All Is True, The Tempest, Much Ado About Nothing, Hamlet, Macbeth, As You Like It, and the plays of the Henriad being among them. Today, we call this compilation the First Folio. Cardenio and the Two Noble Kinsmen were not included among its pages.